Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, and today we are diving into what might just be the most significant diplomatic gathering since the end of the Cold War. While you were busy scrolling through social media on August 31st, three world leaders were busy rewriting the rules of global politics in Chinese port city called Tianjin. And trust me, what happened there is going to affect your life, your wallet, and your future in ways you can't even imagine yet. So grab your chai, settle in, and let's decode how a handshake between old enemies might have just changed everything. Picture this, it's August 31st, 2025. The world's most powerful non-Western leaders are gathering in Tianjin, China for the 25th Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit. Now, you might be thinking, SCO sounds like a boring acronym from geography textbook. But hold your thought, because this so-called boring organization just become the most exclusive club on planet Earth. We are talking about 26 countries representing nearly half the world's population and about one-third of global GDP. That's right. While America was busy fighting internal political battle, the rest of the world was quietly building their own party. And guess what? The invitation got lost in Trump's mail. The star attraction, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Chinese President Xi Jinping, and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Three leaders who until recently had enough disagreement to fuel a dozen soap operas, suddenly walking hand in hand like old college friends at a reunion. The visuals were striking. Modi warmly embracing Putin before the trio strolled together to meet Xi, laughing and chatting as if they were planning to weekend getaway. Rather than reshaping global geopolitics, Chinese social media exploded, with users pointing out the obvious chemistry between leaders who theoretically should be rivals. And if you were sitting in the White House watching this, you would probably be reaching for a very strong drink. Now, to understand why this moment matters, you need to know about something called RIC. And no, it's not a new cryptocurrency or TikTok trend. RIC stands for Russia, India, and China, the geopolitical equivalent of your school's three smartest kids deciding to work together on the final project. The idea goes back to 1998 when Russia's Prime Minister Yevgeny Primakov had a stroke of strategic genius. On a visit to India, he proposed something audacious. What if we three Asian giants stopped competing with each other and starting competing with the West instead? Think about the math here. Three countries, over 3 billion people, that's a 37% of humanity. China brings the world's second largest economy and manufacturing unit. India contributes the fastest growing major economic and its tech expertise. Russia throws in vast natural resources and cutting edge military tech. Put it all together and you've got a superpower sandwich that makes the West very nervous. And it actually worked for a while. Between 2002 and 2020, RIC ministers met more than 20 times. They coordinated on global issues and even looked like they were building something durable. Then came the Galwan Valley clashes in 2020, where India and China nearly came to blows in the Himalayas. And suddenly, the triangles looked more like a broken line. But fast forward to 2025, and here's the plot twist. Trump's tariff tantrums and sanctions crusade have achieved what decades of diplomacy couldn't. They have pushed India, China, and Russia to realize they need each other more than they dislike each other. And oh boy, Trump's foreign policy deserves its own movie. If international relations were a Bollywood film, Trump would be the villain whose blunder accidentally unite all the heroes. He slapped a crushing 50% tariffs on Indian exports while accusing India of funding Russia's war by buying oil. Oil that was actually saving India $17 billion annually. He threatened Europe, begged allies to punish India, and somehow managed to let China off easier than India. Even though China is Russia's biggest oil customer, the result? India grew closer to both Moscow and Beijing. Jake Sullivan, America's own national security advisor, summed it up best. Trump's policy have put the US brand globally in the toilet. So when Modi, Putin and Xi sat together in Tianjin, this wasn't just another summit. It was a carefully choreographed performance. Xi announced a brand new SEO development bank with $1.4 billion in loans, a parallel to the World Bank but without Western conditions. He pitched tech and AI cooperation to build a system independent of Silicon Valley. Putin blamed NATO for Ukraine but cleverly framed India and China as mediators, turning them into a part of Russia's diplomatic shield. Modi, meanwhile, played a master balancer with the SCO formula: security, connectivity, and opportunity. He condemned terrorism without a thinly veiled jab at Pakistan, backed infrastructure like Chabahar Port and North-South Corridor, and pushed for youth empowerment. But the real fireworks weren't the speeches. They were in the hugs, the car rides, the candid chats. Modi and Putin arriving together, the trio laughing shoulder to shoulder. These weren't random photo ops. They were signals, deliberate signals, that Washington's pressure tactics were backfiring. And when the summit ended with 24 agreements and the Tianjin Declaration condemning unilateral coercive measures, diplomatic code for Trump's tariffs are illegal, the message was crystal clear: a new axis of forming. Now, the big question, will RIC actually happen? My analysis says yes, with about a 75% probability within the next 18 months. Why? Because the incentives are aligned. Together, they control one-third of global GDP and 19% of the world's land mass. They already cooperate BRICS and SCO. External pressure from the US is pushing them closer. India and China's border tensions are cooling, and Russia, desperate under sanction, needs this alliance like oxygen. Expect announcements on energy and payment system by December 2025, gradually deepening through 2026, and by 2027 to 28, a formal RIC framework could be reality. And if that happens, the implications are massive. Economically, it challenges the dollar dominance. Imagine alternative payment system, a new trade routes and supply chain that bypass Western choke points. Technologically, the trio could build a self-sufficient ecosystem. China's factories, Russia's resources, India's software, a complete package independent of American chips or European platforms. In security, you had have three nuclear powers offering alternatives to Western alliances, potentially pulling parts of the global south into their orbit. The West, already rattled. NATO and the EU don't have a playbook for containing three nuclear giants representing nearly half of the humanity. Europe especially are terrified of losing access to the fastest growing markets. If RIC countries prioritize each other and global South, Europe risks sliding into irrelevance. So here's the bottom line. The Tianjin summit might be remembered as the moment the post-American world order began to crystallize. Not through war or revolutions, but through three leaders deciding they were better off together than alone. Trump's tariffs and sanctions, instead of weakening them, have pushed them into each other's arms. Instead of preserving American dominance, they may have accelerated its decline. The question isn't whether the world is changing, it's whether you are ready for it. Because, ready or not, the age of American dominance is ending, and it's ending faster than anyone expected. That's all for today's. If this analysis opened your eyes to what's really happening behind the diplomatic curtains, hit that like button, subscribe and ring the bell. Because trust me, the next moves in this global chess game are going to be even more dramatic. Until next time, keep questioning, keep analyzing, and remember, In geopolitics, the most important moves are often the ones nobody sees coming. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.